God, presence. Thou great, magnificent seed of eternal fire, planted in our hearts to expand its radiance through our lives, we bow in grateful adoration to Thee for Thy presence in the universe and in ourselves, sustaining us every moment of every hour. We invoke the presence here of our beloved Saint Germain, of our beloved Lord Moriah-El, of all the Chohans of all the rays, the ladies of heaven, the angelic host, the great karmic board, the magnificent goddess of liberty, and all who have to do with the sacred fire. And we ask that they surround each one of us with their great love, which erases automatically all of our thoughts that are not in correspondence with the eternal purposes. We ask Thee, O eternal Father, Thou great I Am Presence, that Thou make of our hearts and consciousness an ever-living chalice, that we may receive the radiance and benefit of the radiation of our own dear Maitreya as he comes to us and speaks his heart and his love and his compassion to us. Greetings, children of the Most High, with a mantle of divine perfection and eternal light. I do cover you this hour with the infinite presence of your Father and mine. To understand His perfection is to become as He is. To be aware of His light is to manifest it. To think as God thinks is to be as God is. Life, light, and love. Peace be unto you in the name of the cosmic Christ, and by the mantle of the Buddha. May each of you recognize yourselves as unfolding spiritual beings, created by God and destined to become radiant centers of light in His eternal garden of ever-living Eden. Peace then be unto you. Long ago, when beloved Jesus, who spoke to the children of Galilee and Judea, uttered His words of wisdom, He said, "Show me a coin. Whose image and superscription is upon this coin?" And they replied, "Caesar's." And He spoke to them and said, "Render therefore unto Caesar those things which are Caesar's, and unto God those things which are God's." Mankind, trying to ferret out the eternal purposes by mere intellect, have often misunderstood the intent of this, and they seem to feel that their human identity, their outer self, is a separate world from their divine being. I would like today to show you a little of the eternal purpose using this same illustration. It is true that the coin has two sides, but it is also true that both belong to God. Both belong to your own mighty and beloved I Am Presence. While I am speaking to you now, legions of angels are in the atmosphere hovering over this place. and they are pouring their radiance out into the city of New York and into your midst. How many of you are aware that you have the power as sons and daughters of the Most High to call upon the angelic host who are real and tangible? How many have forgotten their eternal purpose? How many today are able to do as beloved Jesus did in Gethsemane? Speak unto the Father and receive angelic comfort. You also are children of the Most High. Some have forgotten that. And in the forgetting, your powers have waned, and you no longer seem able to invoke that protection which mankind knew in their Edenic state. This, the hierarchy of heaven would restore to you, not only today, but forever. We of the great white brotherhood, we of the light, would restore to man the power that removes shadows, would restore to you the power of the communion of saints and the communion with the angelic host. These angels have a reality. Men have smiled, and yet many today walk the streets of this world because of the intercession of angelic beings who ministered upon them and restored them to health when they were upon self-created beds of pain and misery. These angels are real. They are tangible, beings of light and fire. From the heart of God they go forth, winged messengers of light, love, and power. They are yours to command as they are mine, but their commands must always be commands of light. When you meet those who sit upon your highways and byways in penury, begging for coin of the realm, and your heart is opened and you reach within your purse and you take therefrom a coin and place it in their hand, why do you do this? To be seen of men, or because your heart reaches out and you recognize that they are in a state less than your own and you would raise them to a higher state? Yet mankind knows that the mere giving of coins does not in itself solve the problem, but to restore these individuals to wholeness, to a straight spine, to a right mind, to a proper understanding. This would remove this blight from your land and from the world. And therefore, as way showers of light, down through the centuries, magnificent cosmic beings have arrived on the scene of time. They have been projected on the screen of life like motion pictures, and yet they were living men and women. These have showed forth the way to light. Many have gone forth from realms of light. As voices crying in the wilderness, men have heard their voice, and yet the world has remained in shadow. Today, many of the wonders of Atlantis are restored to this earth. Your television, your radios, your use of electricity, your modern conveyances and communications, all are so reminiscent of the beauty of Atlantis. But, beloved hearts, children of God, mere physical accomplishment and the mere use of physical sciences in itself is not the greatest wonder of the ages. The greatest wonder of the ages is the miracle of your own being. Your being which saith, because it is empowered to say it, I am. When you thus utter the name of God, that is the wonder of the age, the miracle of being, the sweet mystery of life, that consciousness with which you are endowed and by which you recognize one another and by which you may raise your eyes and your lives upward toward the sun and perceive its rays as they pour out the dawn of each day to each life. This in itself is the miracle of the ages. And the gift of life given by God is sacred. It is sacred because that gift of life is connected with the sacred fire. And when the fire is removed from your physical form, as your beloved leader spoke to you this day, then of course there remains but the inert atoms, yet they too have life. And these remain, but there is no animation. Therefore that which moves you and causes you to have being is your own mighty God presence. Revere and adore this presence. This is your Father and my Father. This is your God and my God. This is the God of every master and every cosmic being. This is the fire on the altar of heaven, before which every knee does bow and every tongue does confess, saying with great love and adoration, and knowing that it is I am. To say I am is the full power of God. To feel I am is to be at peace. But to be I am is to manifest the eternal in form, in substance, and in dimension. Victory comes to those who are able to perceive their life not as belonging unto Caesar, but as belonging unto God. It is not needful for men to always become ascetics. It is not needful for men to withdraw from the world as though it were not the Father's, but it is needful for men to transform the world, because they, like eternal gardeners, are given the wherewithal to transform the world and make it a Garden of Eden, a paradise of beauty, using the scientific knowledge and blessings which are given to them wisely and well, using religion not as a means for personal aggrandizement or a means whereby the ego can assuage some of its own conflicts, using religion as it was intended to be, as a mere ordered service, directing their consciousness to their higher self, that higher consciousness may respond to them, and in the response from the heart of God, there may go forth the wisdom ray, and that ray from on high may show them how to transform the world, how to transform their lives, how to remove their fears, how to walk the earth with dignity, how to wear robes of righteousness, how to be able to have the sight that sees and perceives a cosmic being and recognizes themselves as a cosmic being. The Great White Brotherhood is an organization of the Spirit. It has, through the centuries and the ages, endowed various individuals with power. It has formulated plans and concepts in its sacred conclaves in order to show men how to find the pathway back to light. It has established churches, temples, mosques, and sanctuaries throughout the world. Many are on the periphery of light, and some are nearer the heart of the sacred fire. But these were ordained for one purpose. Priestcraft and mankind, operating in the realm of greed and selfishness, have perverted its purposes. But the eternal purpose of God cannot be trifled with. Only in human consciousness have men perverted the plan of God. At higher levels, it remains inviolate, pure, magnificent, and glorious, with the glory of the eternal shining out its radiance at every hour. Through all time and space, it permeates and it pervades life, and it restores health, strength, and vitality to the universe. For the universe, the physical universe, is but a reflection of that great, magnificent, macrocosmic world of God, held in his arms and in his hand as a chalice of beauty, where he can pour forth the essences of his Spirit and direct those essences to take hallowed forms and beings of grandeur and glory, bodies indestructible, minds filled with divine wisdom, power and glory, and the kingdom that is coming. Throughout Christendom the cry has gone forth, Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done upon earth, even as it is in heaven. This mantram of the ages, uttered through the mouths of thousands of the children of the eternal, though they know it not, has produced a call which has reached the very heart of heaven, rending the human veil and bringing power to this earth, the power of the sacred fire, which blazed upon the altars of Atlantis and blazes upon the altars here today, in order that it may make you cognizant of your destiny eternal. Mankind focuses their attention upon the ephemeral. Mankind looks and beholds the glittering lights upon the streets of New York and the rest of the world. Their eyes become riveted to the power of their television sets. And yet, who shall declare that the day may not come when our face will be projected thereupon? Who is able to say that cosmic beings shall not someday speak their directives through these very avenues and channels? And then, because the subject matter is correct, mankind will be assisted into their eternal freedom. What is it you seek, children of mankind? Is it not freedom from want? Is it not freedom from fear? Is it not peace, victory, light, love? Do you not desire to be loved? Do you not desire not to be rejected? Why is this? Most of you, almost all of you, I think, have a feeling at times, what I would term a parent feeling. This is of God. You have a feeling of a parent, of a mother or a father toward some part of life. Remember, dear ones, that the Father has a parent feeling toward each of you. The eternal Father is your father and your mother. Therefore, it is so needful that men realize the status of a mediator, that they realize that there is their own presence, and that in a sense of the word, they themselves are mediators too. As they take the light rays from the chalice of their own being and radiate it forth upon the world, acting then even as I am in dispensing the light of God. In a sense, I could use a homely illustration of a beautiful meadow with green grass and lovely flowers of every description, of a beautiful little girl walking in the meadow and plucking these flowers and filling a basket with these flowers, symbolic then of the grace of God. And because she is a mediator of the Son eternal, which blossoms through these flowers, she takes these flowers home and into her community and city and passes them around among the children and the people of the city. And so the essence and the sweetness and the fragrance of the flower is scattered, and many are able to share the bounties of the light and the sun. This is intended to be. You are all mediators, if you will, mediators of the eternal light of God, even as I am, as the Christ was. Remember the words of Jesus when they said, "Who are you?" "Before Abraham was, I am," was his answer. And so, beloved hearts, You too can say, before Abraham, before Adam, was, I am. For before there came into being discord upon this planet, God perceived all perfection and all life, and He has never failed to the present hour to perceive only perfection here. It is you, blessed ones, who have somewhat failed, but it need not continue to be so. For the purpose of all religion, the purpose of all life, is to manifest its eternal destiny. I would turn the coin upon the other side. I would show you not the image of Caesar, but the image of God. The image of God is so beautiful it defies a worded description. And I could only convey to you by my feeling and my radiation how glorious it is. Who can describe the eternal? The philosophers of the ages, the great orators of all time, even Daniel Webster, and the Roman and Greek orators and philosophers could not describe it. None of the great ones have even undertaken the describing of the eternal. They have spoken of His attributes. And today, I would only add my light to this sanctuary and to this world by increasing the intensity of that light and commanding in God's name, I am, increase, increase, increase. O thou light of the eternal wisdom, of the sacred fire, and let the children of this earth come to know more of God's beauty. Magnify it 10,000 times. I, Maitreya, commend it, unfurling my banner, that this golden age shall be, because the Eternal has spoken it, and He shall not fail. The light of God shall not fail. The light of God shall not fail. The light of God shall not fail. And the mighty I Am presence is that light. O children of God, see mirrored within your own eyes, within your own heart, the eternal radiance, and faint not, but be about your Father's business, and you shall galvanize this age. You shall fill the tabernacles and temples with worshipers who shall worship in spirit and in truth, who shall recognize their own divinity and shall realize that the farce of the ages is because men have looked at Caesar and have not looked at God. I thank you.